Do we have any volunteers for first mental health corner?
We always give the guest the option.
Yeah.
My mental health is better. It's been a difficult few months. Like my partner Nathan and I have been coming out of like a difficult stretch. I talked about like my defensiveness and like just I can't imagine what it's like to be a to be a neurotypical, live with a neurodivergent person who also like constantly wants to make everything your fault because they have a lot of their own like trauma. Brett talking about you're talking about complex PTSD and really have had that revelation with my therapist and psychiatrist as well, and just how much one of the things that I continue to sort of be amazed by is how much everything can come back to the trauma that you've experienced and how that shapes the way that your brain ends up working.
Mm-hmm.
That again, like ADHD and autism and all of these things can be, both downstream of the trauma that you've experienced because it's shaped your brain in different ways, but also it can exacerbate those things.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing that I've been sort of dealing with a lot is just recognizing how often people will fuck you up without having anything but the best of intentions. and how you sort of have to learn to reconcile that without needing to have them take responsibility for it.
Yeah.
What did Merlin said last week? They're doing the best they can, and that's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. I listened to that episode and it was really weird, like having the super long mental health corners the last couple of times. Plus that, I was like, wow, this is all just sort of coming together at the right time. And so it's, also work has just been absolutely like just pouring water over top of you, like waterboarding levels of like overwhelming. And so I've really had, I was in a meeting earlier this week with my boss and she was like, she is also, I'm pretty sure, neurodivergent. And like, it is learning to be a better manager still and is like a very good engineer, but that means that like sometimes she gets really worked up about things, and like when your boss gets worked up about things, like then you get worked up about things. And there was a moment in which I was just like, I am screaming inside right now. Ooh. Can we just stop for a moment? Because like I cannot take any more information being thrown at me and be asked to like operate.
Yeah.
And it's just been a really intense period, and I'm like trying to get out of the house more and do more things. I was down in LA for the weekend. My mom was in town, saw my brother, my sister-in-law, and my nephew, and went out to eat at a restaurant that was mostly outdoors. If you're in LA, go to the Hatchet Hall. It's a phenomenal restaurant. But it's just been like really intense and overwhelming, and just like it's one of those things where you're like, oh, does it ever get like really, can I get life to be boring again? I feel like we've all been going through that for years, right? But now but there was a period when like COVID was happening and I was like, well, my life is really boring inside of COVID and I love it.
Yeah.
I was at home doing nothing, like same thing every day, had the same stuff delivered every 2 weeks for groceries. It was so awesome. And now people want me to do things again. And now all of the stuff that I thought I had figured out, but mostly I was just hiding in my house, which is like fine, except that like my partner does not have the capability to give me the amount of social interaction that I need. Now it's just like all of the other stuff is coming on top of it, and COVID is still going on to some degree. So it's just like very, very exhausting right now.
I relate to this inclination to not do anything or to have things be the same every day. That is where I feel the most comfortable. But in the times I am kind of forced or, by circumstance, I end up doing things outside of my comfort zone. I usually end up feeling a sense of accomplishment and satisfaction. Right. Do you find like being forced to do things to actually be maybe good?
Yes, I do. Like it is. The struggle is that the amount of time that's available. right? Like the other things, doing the other things is great, but like I'm not yet getting to choose to not do other things.
Yeah.
You know, so there's just not enough time at all at the moment. And you know, it doesn't, I love them. They are like one of the greatest joys of my life, but having 9 dogs is, you know, and particularly like the process of dog training right now, which is 2 nights a week for like 3 hours each night.
Yeah, that sounds insane.
It's just like so much. It's so much fun.
Hold on, pause. Mental health.
Oh, you didn't know.
9 dogs? Are you Catholic?
No.
That's
No.
insane. I love it.